now. So let's rock with this real quick.
I've been in ICE custody 2 times, one for 2 weeks and another for 7 months. And I can tell you now, this whole protest ICE is probably the dumbest thing people could be doing right now. I mean,
right there alone, that's enough for me. When I heard it, I said, that's enough for me. That's enough.
Ridiculously stupendous. Number one, majority of immigrants that get picked up by ICE will have their day in court, and depending on their status and their history, they will also have the opportunity to bond out. If ICE wants you, they're gonna get you. Why, as an immigrant, am I not worried about ICE? Well, because I already have court. I've already bonded out the system. As long as I don't violate my bond conditions, I don't have any problems to worry about. If you really want to help people that's getting rounded up by ICE, it won't be done by you protesting. It'll be done by your pockets. Because do you know how many people is in ICE custody right now that do have a bond, but they can't bond out because you need to pay the full thing? They don't do 10%. Do you know how many people have to try to find pro bono lawyers because they can't afford lawyers? In my time in ICE, I've met plenty of people that attempted to avoid ICE. And yes, for a little while they were successful, but ultimately they gon' get you. This may sound like a conspiracy theory, but I honestly believe that politicians are playing these protesters like fiddles to incite violence and insurrection so that they can have...
Come on. Come on. I've been telling people this. These aren't just random people going out there protesting and they just mad one day and they just woke up. No. Arizona to Minnesota is sparking over there in Philadelphia. These are coordinated events by these politicians, along with these nonprofits and activist groups, in order to unsettle it and make it so uncomfortable for Donald Trump and ICE, DHS, any of them, any that oppose their sanctuary city status, to make it uncomfortable for them. And it became worse when Donald Trump was going after the money over in Minnesota. Because now you're taking away the voter base and then you're taking away the money. And if you don't got voters, if you don't got money, what else happens? You out the game. See, I can say that and we can get on these videos and do all of this commentary. We can do reaction videos. We can say all the stuff we want to say. People will listen to it and they'll go to the next video. Yeah, swipe to the next, swipe to the next. But it's different when you get somebody that's a survivor that went in twice. Homeboy got freaking stripes. Oh no. Homeboy got stripes. I don't know how you could be a twice survivor, ICE, and you got a show update, but it is what it is, right? He could be like one of those people which get up here and oh, ICE stopped us and they're taking all of us and dragging all of us out the country, and you need to stop, you need to blah blah blah. They'll tell you half the story, you'll get a bunch of emotions, and next thing you know, we got kids picketing in schools and protesting. And when you hear the real people, because none of those jokers that's over there protesting, none of them have been in real ICE custody as an immigrant, as an illegal immigrant, because we are a nation and is somebody down the line. We were immigrants at one time, every single person at one time, until we became citizens of the country, have families. But an illegal immigrant, you got to listen to him speak, because when you hear him say it kind of changes the context of all of this. And if it doesn't change the context for you, then you're stupid. You're just dumb. You're just dumb. You just want it to be your way, and that's all you want. And I get it. Little kids act like that. My kids do the same thing. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. And then I smack them in the head up like, bro, son, you're not right. You're not right. That bed is not made up, But that's what we need. And I think more people who are survivors of ICE should come out instead of trying to be whatever they trying to do, draw sympathy. They believe that sympathy is going to keep them, I guess, in. However, homeboy he dropping dimes.
A better opportunity at the polls. Because if there wasn't so many people impeding investigations and getting in front of ICE and fighting them and all that other stuff, all of this violence and that lady passing away in Minnesota would not have happened.
I said the same thing. All the violence and the lady passing away, none of that stuff would happen. Now, you don't take my word for it. He a survivor of ICE. You go ahead and you take his word for it. He a survivor of ICE. This dude said protest is a waste of time. ICE survivor did the best shot. Shout out to the content creator. Homeboy, I like the page. I follow go back. I'm going to shoot him a message. Say what's up. Man, yo, bro. I mean, he kept it 100. Let's go.
Nonstop news now at 7 tonight. A Georgia Army veteran was just deported to Jamaica.
Godfrey Wade, he lived in the U.S. for 52 years before he was detained by ICE during a traffic stop in Rockdale County. Today, he spoke with Atlanta News First senior reporter Patrick Quinn.
They just dump you in a country that you've never been. I haven't been to this country in 30 years.
Godfrey Wade is getting used to his new life in Jamaica. Wade, now 66 years old, moved to the U.S. when he was 15. He served in the U.S. Army during the Cold War. He told me he loved the uniform.
The discipline and the consistency of what that institution represents. Be all you can be.
Wade then started a family, a father of 6 kids, and on a green card, he went to work. Serving burgers.
All right, let's stop it right there. On a green card, he went to work. So, first thing I had to sit back and think about was, how the heck did this guy join the military, join the Army, and he wasn't a citizen? So I did my ChatGPT chat. Of course, I had to go to ChatGPT. Some of y'all jokers, y'all don't realize y'all gonna get outpaced until y'all learn how to actually use this thing properly, not just as some Google high price deal. So, can you be a U.S. citizen? Can you be someone that's here on a green card and join the military? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Now, a non-citizen, you can be an enlisted soldier, but not an active duty soldier. Now, I'm going to show you why do I even want to talk about it? That's my Army Commendation Medal. One of my medals. Yeah, I've been in the Army. Now, I'm going to blow your mind. I was in the Army, and I was a citizen in the Army. I didn't come here I wasn't born here. I came here when I was 2 years old, 3 years old. And the thing that my mom did that was the best thing in the world, and my pop did. My pop was an engineer, my mom an accountant. Yeah. I don't look African, but bro, I don't care. I don't look African. I know. Africans be looking at me like, you ain't African. Yo, bro. You right. I'm not no more. I'm an American. Straight up Americanized. That's it. And they get mad at me. I'm like, bro, you don't go to another country and then try to take your own shit with you. Oh, yeah, we still gonna do this prayer time in the middle of the street. Joker, come on. Leave all that crap alone. Leave it alone. You came here for a better life. Make it a better life. But my mom and my dad was smart enough. They said, hey, we here. We got great jobs. We're going to get the citizenship thing done. And I went through the process. And I got mine when I was, 13, 14 years old? So I knew. I was like, okay, I'm a citizen. 3 years, here from 3 years old, 10 years later. I think if we actually started it roughly about 5 years in when they were settled. 5 years later, it is a timely process. Yeah, we were in money. So I had to do some digging. I'm like, how do you be in the U.S. military? You in the military for probably a minimum at least 4 years. At least minimum 4 years. 2 years inactive duty service, 4 years. And you enlisted. How does this work? And I'm new to this. I didn't know, had no idea. Dude messed up. And this is the part that they don't even talk about. You'll see this at Atlanta Alive, news, and they'll draw the sympathy from people, which I'm like, yo, I'm sympathetic about it. I'm okay. But when I started researching, I said, hold on. You mean to tell me you can become a U.S. citizen and apply for naturalization your first day in the military? And we're talking about 50 years later. What was it? 40 years later. Homeboy was in for at least 4 years, never applied. And what's crazy is when you get in, they will expedite your naturalization. That means you go through all the background checks, all the stuff, you learn all the information. Negro, you need to know where the hell these cities are that are in this country. You do need to know. You know that, right? You know you need to know, right? I'm just saying you need to speak English, plain and simple, okay? So they expedite it. And you know the $700 fee? They don't even charge you the $700 fee. You have the benefits in the military serving. And I felt that was right. I was like, dude, it makes sense. If you're going to lay your life down in whatever position that you choose in the military, you should be able, you should have some benefits because you're laying your life, you're giving your life in. I know people that do lifetime bids in that mug. Yeah, they thought I was going to be a lifetime bid, Sergeant Duncan, Airborne Duncan. They thought you were going to be lifetime. I said, no, I wasn't. But you got those opportunities now. And then you turn around. Only thing you can't do, too, I was looking at it. You can't do anything that involves high-level security clearance. That means you can't do special ops. You can't do military intelligence. See, I was a citizen, naturalized citizen. I could do military intelligence. I was part of military intelligence unit, airborne unit. So I was like, hold on, what's going on? Is this even true? Look, I'm getting messages. People know. Oh. I'm like, is this even true? I thought it was fake, but it shows me how the media garnish, how they take situations and they try to manipulate it and bend it to get the emotions from people. Oh, this is an injustice. Now, granted, I do believe you've been here for a long period of time. We should look at that instead of just throwing people out. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Joker had a lot of fucking time to get it right. He had a lot of time to get it right. A lot of time.
The Battery were in 2021.
Congratulations, they are the winner of this week's Golden Spatula Award.
He even received a Golden Spatula Award from this station after H&F Burgers got a perfect health score.
Anybody, you can call anyone at the praise organization and they'll tell you about Godfrey Wade.
In September 2025, during a traffic stop, Wade was taken into ICE custody, tied to a prior immigration hold. Godfrey had missed an immigration hearing back in 2014, a hearing Wade's attorney told me he never knew about.
You're supposed to have notice that you have to be there. That never happened. They then start sending letters to an address that was not associated with him.
Wade was
See, and I gotta say it again. This is accountability. This is handling your own business. You know you're not like a citizen. You know you have a green card. You know you have to now apply to be a citizen. They don't tell the full story. How do you get mail delivered to some random address? You mean to tell me you don't sit the time to think about, like, hey, let me call on my citizenship. Let me call to do my naturalization. Let me follow up on my appointment, my green card appointment. Nobody should have to call you to let you know. That's what being a grown-ass man is about. That's it. Nobody should. People disagree. Y'all can hate. Y'all can have your appointment. Leave your comments. Listen, leave your doggone comments. I don't care. I'm not emotionally moved by that. You know, my wife loved me. That's all that freaking matters.
Oh, no.
That's it. But I feel you about your business. You're a grown behind man. Why the heck you don't know that you got a green card? And I don't know if you have to reapply or if it expires after a period of time. Leave a comment and let me know. I don't know that part. I never had a green card. I never had that, you know, at least not that I can ever remember. But how does it work that you just totally forget about it? And they sending it to some random address out there in the stratosphere. And
in ICE detention in Lumpkin, Georgia, before he was deported earlier this month to Jamaica. Tony Kosicki, a Navy veteran himself, said Godfrey was denied his day in court.
And the idea that we are not giving a military veteran the due process that every one of us deserves, regardless of military service, I mean, that is the real issue.
We reached out to ICE and the Department of...
And I can agree. That could have been some type of, just because he was a veteran. Just because, dude, you get popped in the service, even if you're not in combat, they still got to pay your life insurance. You know, and people die all the time in the military, regardless of whatever we see on TV. They only talk about the combat deaths. There's people that die in trainings. There's jokers when you in basic, they tell you don't put your head up. You got Negroes put their head up during live fire. It's so much stuff that happens. If they said it all, then people would be scared. But I think there was, and this is where I say we've got logic, we've got rule of law, logic. Logic, rule of law isn't always logic, but we got rule of law. And then we've got compassion, we got grace. That's why we leave it to judges to say, okay, we see this, we see that, let's make this move. I can't deny he did some stupid stuff. He ignored it. He tried to run like homeboy in the other reaction video I did earlier. You can't run from ICE. You can't run from this situation. You can't. There's no way you can run and hide. And he found out the hard way.
Homeland Security about Wade's case, but did not hear back. Congressman David Scott, who represents Rockdale County, where Wade is from, wrote this letter to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, calling on her to let him go before a judge. Those cries have so far gone unanswered. Now in Jamaica, a man who once defended this country now waits to defend himself.
When people fall in love with this country, we really love this country. And we want this country to love us back.
Wade's attorney says the immigration hold is tied to 2 crimes from 20 years ago. The first was a bounce check, which he says Wade repaid at the time. And the second is a simple assault charge, a domestic dispute with an ex-partner. Wade took a plea deal in that case, according to his attorney. And we did reach out to DHS once again about the claim that Wade was not guaranteed an immigration hearing during his detention. We have not heard back yet. Outside the state capitol.
Yeah. Now you're dealing with stuff that's freaking 20 years old, 30 years old back. If you were a green card holder, you were visiting in this country, you don't need to be messing around and showing up on anybody's meter when it comes to law enforcement. You just don't. And people, I don't know why. To me, this is common sense. Lay low. I grew up in Philly. I learned really quick. Some things you just need to lay low from.